Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Tuesday, the 10th of February. That means cardiac rehab today. Dancing with the oldies. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I thought we'd talk about tools and tools of the trade. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Tuesday, the 10th of February of 2026. So, the topic, tools of the trade. Now, I noticed a couple comments that you may think that TeamU tools are crap compared to, let's say, Snap-on. Absolutely. But here's my thought process on it over the years. Is tools don't make a mechanic, but a mechanic can take any tool and make it work. And what I find is, even Claude, I was talking with him the other day about it, because when he was working for a car dealership, 95% of his tools were Snap-on. And he said it was convenient. The truck showed up once a week and it put you on payment plans, and, it didn't take long, and you could be in over your head in a hurry, right? And my son went the same way when he went to work for a car dealership as a mechanic. He started out with some Harbor Freight, I think, in the beginning, and then he gradually, as he worked, he kept replacing the tools with Snap-on. And I've seen the Snap-on tools. They're awesome. But they come with an awesome price tag. And I think most of the people here on the channel are kind of a mixed bag, okay? We've got some really good mechanics, and I expect that they probably have high-end tools, that you have high-end tools. Now, with Claude and I working in small engine repair and stuff, he and I both are Harbor Freight. For most of the stuff, I've got a lot of Craftsman from Sears that I had from years ago that my wife bought me. I've never owned Snap-on. I bought a few Snap-on wrenches at auctions, but personally, I never could justify the cost. But I also knew that no matter what tools I bought, it didn't make me a mechanic. That I've seen Claude take, cheapy throwaway tools and make them work. And that's why I say, you guys that are mechanics out there, it doesn't matter where your tools come from. It depends on your level of experience and how well you do the job. I know when I worked up to the mines, there were a few guys that they hired on as mechanics underground. And they'd come in with these great big rolling tool chests and all pretty tools. And I'll tell you, some of them even were afraid to get the tools dirty. They were constantly polishing the tools. I guess if you feel you need to impress someone, but I never have felt that way. I am who I am, right? And I probably can turn a Snap-on wrench just as quick as I could a TeamU wrench. Why do I put TeamU stuff up on our channel? Because I know a lot of people either are retired do-it-yourselfers or guys that are just getting into or gals just getting into the scene of small engine repair and looking to go out on their own. And I can tell you right now, if you follow any of my videos, the same theme kind of holds true, and that is do it with as little debt as possible. Now, when you have a Snap-on truck coming to your shop once a week and you just keep buying stuff and you're putting it on credit and they keep extending your credit to more and more and more, now you're working for the man, right? So it kind of hamstrings you. If you were to ask me, what tools should I start off with? I would tell you to start off with whatever tools you can afford. That's the quick answer. Am I going to recommend whether it's Craftsman, Snap-on, Cobalt? There's a bunch of different ones out there. And they say lifetime, guarantees on them, but they're not really lifetime. I guess Snap-on is, because I know that even Claude has some old wrenches that didn't work anymore, some ratchets. And the Snap-on guy stopped at our shop and wanted to know if either one of us would be interested. And I'm like, no, but he might, Claude's like, no. But he said, I've got a couple ratchets that don't work anymore that are Snap-on. He said, if you want, go get them and I'll swap them out for brand new. So they do back their tools. But you're paying a premium for a quality tool, which is fine. And if that's your forte, that's your forte. But over the years, I've watched a lot of really good mechanics. And a lot of them started out with a mixed bag of everything in their toolbox, all different brands, that never had a complete socket set because they end up losing one or something. So they just get a Hercules or a Cobalt and throw it in there. In the comments, what are you guys using for tools? And do you think the tool makes the mechanic, or do you think the mechanic can make any tool work? Because I know over the years that I've watched mechanics, the ones that were really good didn't need Snap-on. Did a lot of them have Snap-on? Yes. Yep. And Claude and I were talking about it yesterday, especially their code readers. But they're expensive. I think Claude said that a friend of his just bought one. It was like $3,800, which is cheap nowadays. And when they sold it to him, it's Snap-on. They told him it's probably going to be outdated in 2 years. That's how fast the technology is coming. So if I were going to buy like the reader, like the laptop or the iPad style thing, I would want it so that it would be upgradable. So that it's something that would last longer than 2 years. I mean, you have to repair a lot of vehicles to get your $3,800 back, right? It's not all pure profit, the hours that you're working. And this is the other thing that we've had conversations on in our shop, is when it comes to specialty tools, if you're a shop owner, do you buy those tools or do you require your mechanics to buy them? See, the philosophy I've had is if it's a specialty tool, I'll pay for it, the shop owner. It just so happens that all the tools in my shop, including out where Claude works, is mine. I didn't even require him to even bring in hand tools. When we first started it, he did have his own tools and stuff. But after the fire, I just replaced all brand new with cabinets and everything out there. And then I still have one full cabinet like I have in the shop that you guys see in the videos. I have another one that's black, the same size in my garage at the house. And that's full of tools. That I think that the shop should be the one to buy the specialty tools, especially like the iPad, laptop, the programs for the vehicles to working on and stuff like that. Because my main thought is that if that mechanic leaves, does the tool go with him? And if it does it hamstring the shop? So instead of having to worry about that, I'm just proactive on if we need something that's a specialty tool. I feel like it's my responsibility as an owner to provide that. And that means these code readers is, the Snap-on truck is bringing in. If there's a cheaper model out there that will do the same thing, then I'm probably leaning towards that. And if one of my mechanics decided that they would want their own because they have more faith in that than they do an off-brand, that's up to them at that point. But it's not required. So I guess in the end, I've seen quality work by mechanics, and I've seen really good quality work from, cheaper tools. This isn't tool bashing by any means, or bashing mechanics. I'm just stating what I feel is the obvious is, do you guys want me to continue showing you the stuff like I get from Temu or Harbor Freight? Because I still think that over half of you guys would think twice about paying, $1,000 for a 1/2-inch drive socket set, where you could buy it for like $10 anywhere else and still accomplish the same things. Now, if you break a socket because you put a bar on it, no, there's no warranty on that. If it's a snap-on socket, there is. You just don't tell them you had the pipe on it. If you're a mechanic, how much do you budget yourself per month for tools? I know my son had a monthly taken right out of his check that went right to Snap-on. And he no longer is a mechanic for that dealership. But he's got all of his tools, and his rolling tool chests are all Snap-on. And he's probably got close to 30, 40 grand in tools that just sit in his garage because he's no longer doing car mechanic work. He's going to work for the state, driving truck, snowplow, and all that stuff. So to me, if I'm going to buy Snap-on, I'm looking long term. What do I mean by long term? I mean, I'm going to be in that trade for a long time. Not just long enough to rack up a bill and then decide I'm going to change jobs. A lot of you guys that are younger, if you're watching this, you guys change jobs too often. I mean, back when I was young, if you went to work for a company, you were looking at retirement. Now, most people only stay 2 to 3 years. And employers know that. So, in the videos, does it bother you that I have Temu tools that I'm showing you, like the tool extractors and stuff like that? Because I think those were, what were they? Around $32 or something like that. But they paid for themselves yesterday because we had the 3 studs that were broke off in the axle, the hub of the tractor, the rear end. And, I've done what you've talked about, Amos, putting the nut there and welding. But if you get it flush or inside just a little bit, the chances of welding to the axle happens too, and that's a pain in the ass. So, and the other thing one of you guys brought up is you have a hard time trying to keep the punch straight. Yeah, that can be a pain in the backside. And after you hit yourself a couple of times with the hammer, you're holding on to the punch, it smartens you up in a hurry. It's one of those tools that you're not going to use a lot, but when you need it, yesterday that set paid for itself because it would have put us, behind the 8 ball of trying to figure out how to get those out. And the level of skill involved is also a factor there too, because Claude has had years of experience working on this stuff with broken studs and everything else, from tractor trailers to 10-wheelers to skidders he's worked on them all. So it was like second nature for him. But he wanted to try these new stud extractors that I got, and he was impressed. He said they work good. Now, what other things would you guys like to see as far as videos? That's something that's been on my mind because I've been just kind of shooting from the hip. I guess a lot of video guys, they have scripts that they use and all that. Don't work for me. I just ad lib as I go, as you very well know, watching my videos, right? But what I'm looking for is like you, Jason. You're a mechanic. Travis, you're a mechanic. What are your thoughts on it? If you have Snap-on tools, are you there because it's the quality because, like I say, I really have seen over the years, and I'm older, that where people thought that the tools would make them a great mechanic. But if you're not a great mechanic, you're not a great mechanic. And the tools aren't going to change that factor. The newer mechanics, are being basically called parts replacers, and I don't believe that in a minute. They're using the tools that are available to them. And when I was growing up, you could work on your own vehicle. Now, no. There's just so much going on inside that computer, and it's adjusting and doing all this other crap that even if I had a code reader or that iPad or that program, I wouldn't know where to look. So it's using the tools that are available is probably the smartest thing you could do. If you fall behind the curve and you're not staying with technology, what happens? It goes by you. And we had a saying, in IT, if you took 6 months off, you would never catch up to what's coming out and what's going on in the industry. And it's true because we're doing leaps and bounds. How far have we come in just the last 10 years when it comes to AI, when it comes to technology that's available, when it comes to, making that vehicle run better based on a computer brain, making all these decisions for it. And then driving down the road while your truck is updating. Or my Ford, when you go to shut it off, it would say, is it okay to update? And you just click yes. And you got out of the vehicle, you shut it off, of course, and it would update Link, and it would do all the updates that it needed to on that computer that was inside my Ford. I don't know if the Dodges do the same thing or not. I haven't seen that on my screen. But I'm all for staying with technology. And I'm all for staying within your budget when it comes for tools. It's one of those feast or famines. What good are the tools going to do you if you can't eat, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing the comments. I got a tough skin. I'm okay. I'm old, and wrinkled. I totally understand where some of you guys are coming from Temu, because I had the same feeling when it first came out in Chinese crap. And I've been saying that for years. But the thing is those Chinese crap is being sold everywhere now under different brands. And you're getting the same thing. That's where I've got a problem, is if you can get it on Temu for $10 and you go to Walmart and that same friggin' thing under a different name is being sold for $49, why would you pay $49 for a $10 item? I guess is what I'm saying. On that note, you guys have a great Tuesday, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this. I know that there's a lot of controversy out there among mechanics, but I think one thing will ring true, and you owners, shop owners, chime in as well. Am I on the right track when I tell you that tools don't make a mechanic? The mechanic can make any tool work. On that note, you guys have a great day.